Hey everybody, how are you? So I'm sitting here talking to myself and I'm wondering why nobody is responding. And that is because I did not press the go live button. If you all can just tell me if you can hear me all right. Hi Jessica. And let me know if you can hear me. And I'm just going to wait a second for the chat to catch up or YouTube to catch up. Thanks, Deb. Thanks, sis. So, welcome to my very late Monday night or late for me um, Build a Quilt series. And I'm just going to go down and say hello to everybody. Hello, Nancy. Hello, Denise Sopatch. My sis Mona. Susan, and let me just go down, go down, go down. I had seen Deb S, and there's a lot of Walmart and fabric and yarn conversation in here. Hi, Candace. Thank you for stopping by. And let me just run down this list as quick as I can. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Hi, Joe. And Jessica again. And Zaza. Hi, Zaza. How are you? Pearl, thank you for stopping in. Thank you for stopping in. So, hi, Rowena. How are you? My laptop is pushed a little further than usual, and I wear glasses, so I'm going to do my best to not squint too much as I try to read the chat. My eyes are kind of tired. It's been a long work day in front of the computer. And I was watching the conversation while I was getting my cameras set up, and there was a lot of Walmart conversation going on. And let me tell you, I just discovered that Walmart delivers to my area, and my Walmart is 30 minutes away from me. So normally we have to drive 30 minutes there, go shopping, and come back. And so it's an hour to and from. And I did a Walmart order this morning. I was so excited. I mean, really, really excited. It's now I have another addiction. I can just go on my app and shop. And maybe I can find some of the fabric and sales that are going on. So anyway, thank you for coming. This is session 2 or series 2 or the second part of our Build a Quilt series. It is utilizing this book here, if you can see it. And it is the Quick and Easy Block Toolbook with 110 quilt blocks in 5 different sizes with project ideas. Hi, Andrea. Thank you for stopping by. So I'm going to go ahead and move my keyboard and get situated. I do have my umbrella, as Mona likes to call it. And so this is our second part. Now, I did want to point out, and I did make a comment on my community, that remember that little tiny house I made that didn't have a roof? And I decided I was sleeping and it came to me. I woke up and I decided that I was actually going to make my house 12.5 inches. So I actually did make the house bigger, and there is a reason for that. And the reason is I am going to create a table topper like I was going to, but it's going to have kind of a Dr. Seussy feel. So I'm going to do some creations with that. And I did make my hearts. I do have one more that is going up. I took my little borders away because I needed to raise it up a little. And my heart blocks are 4 inches. This is 12 and a half, and it's going to be a little easier for me to set, and it will hopefully not have as much blank space. Of course, I'm going to cover that up. Again, thank you all so much for coming. So I wanted to know before I even got started if anybody had any questions about the book, about the cutting. Jessica has done from Sewing on the Bluff. And Jessica, you can go ahead and if you type exclamation be kind, it will drop your link, or if Mona or Deb will drop that link for me, and it's Sewing on the Bluff. She has put out 2 videos that I saw of her blocks that she's doing, and it's really, really pretty. Andrea sent me an email of the blocks that she's creating, and she is doing a Quilts of Valor quilt. And I'm going to share that. Once she shares a little bit more with me, I will share that with you. Yes, Nancy. So I decided that this is my house. And believe it or not, y'all, my house is actually a brick house with a brown roof. So this is really representative of my house. And I would like to think that nothing but love emanates from my house. So I decided I was going to use the hearts as the smoke coming out. But if you have any questions about the book before we get started, I'm going to try to not be as haphazard as I was that little hot mess for my first session where I tried to do too much at one time and confused myself. So we're going to do a little sewing. I do have one, and I will show you right here. I do have one heart block left to sew, and I will be sewing that while we talk a little. And I may or may not use it depending on the scale once I get my other blocks. And I did not use the shortcut method that we talked about last week. I am actually following the book and doing the book. So that way, if there's any questions, I'm better prepared to answer you. And if I skip something in chat, I'm sorry. But I am just going to put this back over here, and I'm going to just sew a little. If you would like to tell me if you started yours, if you plan on doing yours. Mona had a great live this morning. She is working on the butterfly quilt with Rowena and Deb, the Pug Mama Quilter, and I was watching that this morning. And now for these small blocks, because they're actually really tiny pieces, I moved my stitch length down to 1.8. Many people, hi Teresa, Louise, how are you? Many people sew at a 1.8. I normally sew at a 2.0. Yes, this is on page 43. Thank you. Or this is block 43. And let me find that here. So the heart block, and I am doing the 4-inch heart block again. So it's a really tiny. And let me see what I did with it. Sometimes I have to use my little awl to get that to stay in there and not move. So I am sewing block, and it goes really fast. Even the cutting is really easy on it. You just want to be a little slower because you don't have as much room to make a mistake. On these. And I use a scant 1/4 inch. And that is just so I have a little playroom when I'm cutting it, when I'm trimming up the block. And scissors. Excuse me as I cut this. This is the only thing I'm going to be sewing tonight. So the pieces are really tiny, as you can see. They're really tiny. Hi, Donna. Hi, Donnell. How are you? Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for supporting and coming in to see me. And on the top, the little flying geese, I am pressing to the light fabric. And that is just because it works out a little easier for me. So there's not very many pieces to this. You just have to be a little careful. And of course, when you're smalling the smaller blocks, the smaller pieces, they just get a little bit more fiddly. The bigger your blocks are, it is much easier to control. And while I'm sewing this, I don't know if you all had a chance to watch the live I did yesterday with Donna and Giovanna. I mean, Deb and Giovanna was on there, and Debbie from Quilt Blocks was on there for a bit. But I shared that I caught my oven on fire. I believe it was it Thursday or something? Caught my oven on fire. So my pieces look like this, and I'm just going to clip them, clip those little dog ears off. But I caught my oven on fire. And so now I won't leave my kitchen when I'm cooking. I had to buy some appliances because my husband and I decided that we're going to redo a few things in the kitchen, use that as an opportunity to just redo a few items. And but yeah, and it wasn't because of my cooking, it was because my oven is old like me. So is anybody working on anything tonight? I don't know if Joyce is going to be here at any point in the chat or if she watches the rerun. But Joyce, I did email or I did text. So yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. And that conversation was about Joyce mentioned something about So Yeah, that I should contact So Yeah because they were looking for people to do a class for them and you would get paid in fabric. And I said, well, I don't mind doing a class. I can teach them how to purchase from Soya. And I'm sorry. It's awful quiet when you don't have somebody up here with you talking, and it feels a little awkward at times. And I'm just working on this heart block. And if you have the book, and let me just get this here. I don't want to sew my fingers. But if you have the book, I plan, if I can find my pieces here, I plan on doing, it was 19, and I am going to, I don't know if you can see this very well. Let me change the camera real quick. So I don't know if you can see this very well, but it is a buttercup block, and I thought that was really cute. And I'm actually going to set 4 of them on the corners. So I'm going to put buttercups, and on 38, I am going to do the friendship star, which most people are familiar with the friendship star. So I'm going to do the friendship star. They're going to be on this section here. I'm actually going to do the buttercups on the 4 corners, and then I'm going to do an additional 3 blocks. So one of them is the friendship star, and I don't want to make anything too complicated because it is going to be a 6-inch block. Hey, Joyce. Yes, I was talking about you. I was saying that I did text Soya and told them that I was willing to help, and whether they take me up on it or not, I don't know. But if they pay me in fabric, Lori Holt is in my future. That's all I can say is Lori Holt. But so I'm thinking about doing, like I said, alternating blocks. So it's going to be the buttercup, the friendship star, and I'm trying to think of 2 additional blocks that would represent something homey, represent about the house. And I'm a little stumped. And so if you have the book and if you have any ideas and you want to flip through that, give me an idea. Do not give me one that has 30 pieces for a 6-inch block, because I would cry. As it is, I would have to make 8, 16, 8, 32. Yeah, I would have to make, let me flip my iron on. I would have to make 32 blocks. So those 32 blocks are actually going to be in the 3rd and 4th series of this build a quilt series. Now, as I mentioned before multiple times, is that you can build your quilt any way that you want to. This is just how I'm going to do it. And let me just make sure that that is correct. So, and I'm really interested to see how you are going to build your quilt, your tabletop, or whatever you're making. Um, as a side note, I am not pressing my seams open. I generally do not press my seams open because I machine quilt on my domestic, and I find that when I press my seams open, especially on these little blocks, that they split. Because we don't do a back and forth when we don't back stitch when we quilt, when we're sewing our blocks together. And if I press open, I'm always having to correct those seams. So I'm just folding this last one, and then I'm going to press it before I trim it up to the 4.5 unfinished size. He did, with a bunch of pieces. It is. I'm okay with small blocks. I prefer bigger blocks, but I do not mind doing the tiny blocks. And when you're creating your own quilt, it just gives you a little bit of more artistic liberty in whatever you want to do. You can make the quilt any way you want, and you can make changes. You can use any fabric. You are not stuck with whatever pattern they give you. So I'm just trimming this up. I also lightly starch. Yeah, Zaza. I just do not like to press seams open. And like I said, it's not because I have anything against it. It's just I find it really difficult when I am free motion quilting, because there is nothing worse than getting halfway through a huge quilt and then finding that your seam split because you either pulled too much when you were holding it and you didn't see it, and then you have to go back and correct that. And when I free motion quilt, I do not like to break thread unless I'm doing a thread art type of deal. So really easy, little wonky, but I have my little heart block completed, and I'm just gonna switch back here, and it is, don't mind me, it is going to go somewhere up there. So if I may keep it, and um but that's the only place I'm going to put those heart blocks. um yeah, I would be interested. Hi Katie, how are you? I would be interested to know how open seams works on a long arm, because I'm not a long arm. I cannot tell you how that would work, and Teresa would be a very good resource for that. I just know on my machine I prefer not to And I find it actually a little harder to match my seams when I press open. So let me go ahead and turn my iron off because that's all I had. So like I was saying, I'm going to do the buttercup and the friendship. I'm going to do the buttercup and the friendship star. And were there any suggestions on, Susan, you don't like seams open? Yeah, I think I would rather sew around a knot because I can work around a knot, all those connections better than I can with those split seams or the seams that are pressed open. So, were there any suggestions about if you have the book? And I'm really leaning towards a 3 grid. One of the 3 grid blocks, and that's on page 8 on the grid index. And let me go ahead and see if I can't zoom in it very much because this camera that I'm using here is not zoomable. And I'm stuck. I prefer not to do a maple leaf, and I could do the churn dash. Or I could do a shoe fly. So what are you thinking? Joyce, I did not make this apron, but I purchased this apron off of Amazon, and I love it so much. I have a couple of aprons. This one is the one that just flips over your head, the one that crosses in the back, and it's much more comfortable. At the end of a long day, I find that extra weight of pulling where it ties really hurts the back of my neck. So I like this version more, and I'm actually going to take it apart and make an apron. I'm still in search of vintage aprons. They're very hard to find in this location. And I had my daughter look up on Facebook if there were any vintage aprons in our area. And the every time she went into Facebook, it came up to pots and pans. She looked for vintage aprons and it came up pots and pans and household appliances. So I guess everybody just generally throws them away. They throw the vintage aprons away. So I'm looking, they're harder to find. I'm starting my collection. I have some really pretty fabric that I bought from Rita a couple months ago. And I think I would like to make one like this. I think I would like to make one like this, deconstruct it. And it's just really loose and comfortable. And at the end of the day, it's just nice to have to wear. But you going back to this quilt, I have to look at Andrea's again for the Quilts of Valor and see what block she's using again. Yes, I was like, it's really, really comfortable. And sometimes I have people that come up to the house, like the cable guy came up the other day and he's at the house. And, I'm comfortable at home. So it was really easy to just throw this on. And I felt like I was a little bit more covered and not so exposed when I answered the door. I'm at home all the time by myself and I have my dog. But in today's day and age, you just have to be a little careful. So anyway, I did pick out some colors. I'm going to use 2 different colors just to give it some texture on the buttercup block. And I had another green that I must have put aside somewhere. So I'm going to do yellow and green for the buttercup. And I know that I am going to do some long scale stars because they are going to be the tops of trees. Block 23 times 2. So 23 is the combination star. I know you're not telling me to do a 6-inch block that way. Oh my goodness. Block 29. Let me look at block 29. That is really, really pretty. So I could do that. I could do that in, that would be a tight 6-inch, but I could do that. Let's see. Ooh, the biggest cut is a little over 4 inches, and I'd have to cut that in quarters. But I could actually do that. Remember, I have to do, okay, so we got 74. And again, for all of you that might watch in the future, I'm using the Quick and Easy Block Toolbook. So 74 is the ribbon star. Now, the ribbon star is pretty. The ribbon star is pretty. And then we have 65. The Ohio star is pretty. More than 6 tabletops. So I know I have 2 blocks. I need 32 blocks for my borders because I'm going to go 6 inches all the way around completely. The buttercups are going on the corner. The friendship star is going on one side, then the 2 blocks, and then I'll start with the friendship block and repeat the other 2 blocks. So I see 91. Oh, I like that, Deb. The Star of Hope. So let me write that down in my book. I think I like that one. So because I have hearts and flowers and hope. So that was 91. And I'll need 8 of those. So one more. It is not going to be very big. It's going to be about 48 inches, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit smaller or a little wider or a little smaller, depending on where I go with it. But the middle block is my house is going to be a 12-inch. These are 4 inches. My borders around it is going to be 6 inches. And then I am going to do some fun things with some other stars and items. And what did Andrea say? Yeah, it's really nice, Andrea. So I'm going to do 91. So I just need one more block. So I'm going to do 19, 38, 91, and what was let me go back up and see what some of the other numbers were. So I know 91 and, oh, did I see 10? Did we look at 103 already? Oh, that was the variable star. So that one was a good one. And then we had, and again, it's a 6-inch block. So I really do not, I'm gonna, that Star of Sedona, I am actually going to mark that as a possibility for going someplace else in the bar block in the table topper. Let me go down, see what I missed. How am I doing? How are you doing using different size blocks? Nancy, if you're asking me, so again, this is a 12-inch block. This is a 4-inch block. Um, in some areas, I am just going to use background fabric. So probably here, I would use background fabric. That's just a 4.5 and 4.5. I'm going to fill it in with my background fabric because I do plan on utilizing some applique, such as right here, and I have not done it yet because I want the whole quilt to be more or less completed and in place. But I am going to use some applique to add a little bit of greenery, like plants and grass and flowers. And then other places I plan on doing some applique and filling it in with some applique. And then I will also be doing some thread art on it. So it's going to be a culmination of little different types of art forms, and I am just going to kind of fill it in with different size blocks, but my base is going to be on the 12.5, and it is easier for me to gauge the difference because if you have a 12.5, you can do 2 6s, 6.5s, or 6s. Applique home is where the heart is. I could I would have to have my husband do the lettering for me. I don't know if I have all of that, but I'm going to write that. You guys come up with some good ideas. So, Susan, I'm going to write that down as an idea. And the way it's going, it might not be a table topper. It might actually be a wall hanging. That would be really, really pretty. So I am doing that. So I need one more block. And did somebody say 29, the diamond star? I think somebody said 29. And what I probably will do is just do a short video for the different blocks on how to cut them or how I cut them or put them together, because that would just make too long of a video. Did y'all see 33? 33 is really pretty, but that is a lot of pieces. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? And it actually does. It actually does have a 6-inch block, but those pieces are less than an inch. So you're doing 29. Is that what you said, Andrea? The diamond star. So I need one more, and I don't want to do the shoe fly. And there has to be some kind of balance. And like I said, it's gonna be 4 6-inch, and then alternate with the same 4 6-inch. So it's gonna repeat every 4 blocks in that row. Because originally I thought about doing the buttercup in the middle, but then the buttercup is the buttercup, I didn't want to put it on, it leans. And so I did not want to have to square it up because then it would be bigger. Yeah, yeah, Joe, that would be too small for you. It is it, but it's a pretty block. Um, and then if you if you look at 69, 69 is really pretty too, and it is called Paradox. And that's kind of how my life is. I don't want to do something just basic. So, and I looked at the book several times today, but like I said, I was really busy at work, so I could not. I could do that grandmother's choice, but it's kind of basic too. On page 41. So, so yeah. I don't know. But sometimes I think it's better if I'm a hot mess and just whatever. So, so back to my Walmart, my oven. Oh, 66. Let me look at 66. Are you calling me an old maid? I am married. I am married, Deb. But that one's cute. That would be cute. That's a possibility. And if you have to make 32 blocks, I don't want to make 32 complicated blocks. I would like to kind of finish it. So I did want to mention that's right, old maid in an apron. So I did want to say that back to my oven or my oven fiasco and catching it on fire and everything else. Um, we had to go out and buy some kitchen appliances to just get us through until we redo our kitchen in a couple weeks. It did not burn anything. It didn't even burn the oven. The element actually just burned out of it and it sparked and caught fire and is no longer salvageable. But if you ever go and you need a portable range or range top or anything to cook on, do not get the Walmart range top, the little electric range top. I bought the little two burner thing and plugged it in the wall. And as soon as you use both ranges, turn both ranges on, you don't get as much heat. It's like it divides the heat up onto the ranges. But if you only use one range, it is really good. It heats up really quick, works really well. But that was worthless. Um, what do y'all think about that? Did somebody say 99? Did we say 99? That was 91. Did How about those tulip lady fingers? That's relatively easy. That's I don't know if you can see that. That's that's a relatively easy block. And it would add, I would know that it would be a little bit more of a floral theme. Yeah, yeah. You should see some of the things. You should see some of the things Deb calls me when we're not on when we're not on a live. when we're not alive. So I kind of like 99, and that would be easy. It would I could probably get those done first. Okay, so I'm going to do, if I do 99, and that's 12, 12, 12. If it's 48, and I go 6, I can come out a little bit more. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I am going to do 1938, 91, and 99. Mona, are you trying to just get me to say moo-moos? They're not moo-moos. Moo-moos. For this old maid in an apron who's gonna wear moos. But yeah, so we could sell moo-moos, but do you know how much a moo-moo in Hawaii costs? It is so expensive, and it takes a lot of fabric. There, the dress knockout. Yeah, I was thinking about that. You need a lot of yardage to sew a moo, and but it's nice and flowy. Of course, I could just go to Walmart or to a dollar store and get a house dress, cut it up, and use it as a pattern, and it would look like a moo. Walmart having a sale. What is? I know y'all were talking about Walmart having a sale on yarn and fabric. So what else is Walmart having a sale? Every time I go into Walmart, I get lost. They keep we could we could sell moo. I don't know how far we would get. I think it would be easier uh, for Mona and Michelle to sew those aprons, but and I will be making some 8-inch blocks because I plan on using some of the stars as trees, the tops of trees. So there's going to be a variation of eight, but eight, the 4, 6, 8, but I am only doing the house in a 12. You thought they were moo dresses? Wait, fabric to a yard and less. Wait, fabric to a yard and less. Mona, what? What are you trying to say? I do not understand the words coming out of the screen. Um, the older you get, the more comfortable you want to be. And I think it was on Williams Live with Donnell on Saturday. Was it Saturday? Yeah, because it was so yeah. Um, on Saturday they were talking about comfort and everything. Oh, my Walmart does not have much fabric. They have gotten rid of most of their fabric and even their arts and crafts aisle. They have a lot of circuit stuff there, but they do not have much fabric. They have that road fabric where you buy it by the yard in the little things with all the prints. Um, yeah, my Walmart doesn't have anything. They have a lot of alcohol. They sell a lot of alcohol. If that tells you anything. So yes, yes, you have to explain it to me because I'm not. I am. It's late. It's late for me. Y'all know what time I get up. I don't need to tell you what time I get up every morning. I am awake so early. So now this is a fall quilt, but because I've kind of gone to a different direction. I would also I had only planned on using oranges, browns, greens, yellows, and some reds, some rusty reds. She doesn't read chat 101. Hey, hey. Um, so and I don't know if I should introduce any blues to it. I did not pull any blues um, for it. So I'm not really sure if I want to introduce some blues. I'm thinking if I introduce any blues, it might be in the thread aspect of it. So, I do not know. Why don't one, if you host a quilted coat so long? Um, I don't know. I think Salsa, do you sell quilted coats? Do you sew quilted coats? I know Donnell mentioned something about that Donnell did a quilted coat. And if somebody did a quilted coat so long, I participate. I would sew along with you all. I would not wear it, but I would sew along with you all. It I don't think it just gets hot enough or cold enough here. No idea. Love to do one, but I don't sew clothes. They're cute, but they look bulky. And being in Georgia, you don't want that much bulk because it really only gets cold here for a couple weeks. We have these cold spells where it might get freezing, below freezing, and it lasts maybe a week, and then it'll warm up again. Butterwick has a pattern. So we would have to look into that. I would not lead that. If you really, really want to see me cry, I would cry for it. Switch that back. So last time you made any type of clothes was when you were 19. Yeah. I am going to be doing the Dress a Girl. That's their new program, their charity giving program. And they have a pattern on their website that looks super, super easy. I mean, it's pretty much square cuts. You do have to do a French seam, which is not a problem. You saw someone that did patchwork on an oversized sweatshirt. You're going to try one of those. Yeah, I I don't know if y'all do one, or if you find somebody who's doing one that I follow, then I would be more than happy. I think I would like to actually sew one of Williams. So Terry, you just finished Dress a Girl, and that's the one that you did. You give that to Donna? Did you donate those to Donna? I can't remember. Um, and I saw your dresses. I did not. I, no, was it your dresses that I saw? I can't. But is doing their charity. And I miss Donna's because I had some other things going, and I really wanted to go ahead and participate. It's a good cause, and I do have fabric, but I did not realize that it had to be a cotton poly blend or on Mariso's. So I didn't realize if it had to be a cotton poly blend. So I'll have to go and buy fabric for that. Okay, you sent it straight to Marie. Yeah, I don't remember where So Yes that they were sending them. Um, is that may be where I saw it. Katie, all you used is 100% cotton. See, they were asking not for 100% cotton, and it's good to know. And I might have to get more information and just have them ready to go if whenever they do another drive and just bypass. So yeah, I don't know. Um, but I don't have a lot of sewing projects planned for the rest of the year. And so that would be a good filler. I'm going to try to work a little bit more on handbags and try to work on more scrappy things. You're sending yours to Mariso's pre-wash cotton furs. Okay, Mona. I'll have to get with you or so, Terry, about that, because really I haven't been following it much. It was not something that was on my to-do list, and I really want to go ahead and do that. And I thought that I just missed it. The drive is going on this month. You can sew until the end of September, and then send to Marie. Terry, will you send that I don't know if I have enough time to do that. I gotta make 32 blocks in the next 2 weeks. So what is the time frame? They just do it once a year. Let from is going. Andrew, you're all using 100% cotton for Donna. Well, that's good to know because I have a lot of really pretty fabric that I do not intend to use on a quilt or that I do not mind parting with so that I can make this. Okay. So I'm going to have to do a little bit more research and just not take everything at face value. So I'm actually going to put that right there so I remember. Put on my sewing machine so I can remember. Okay, so Marie was saying a video or two ago that cotton and cotton blends were okay, but no polyester and no real pillowcase dress is made from a pillowcase. Okay, so I am writing that. This is very good information. I appreciate it. I my intent is to do a lot of my charity quilting from now to for most of the winter. As the winter starts, probably going into next spring, I don't really have any big quilts unless I'm following along a specific so long with Mona or something. But I'm going to get some charity quilts and trying to get some yardage moved out of here. So I'm going to be doing 3 yard quilts, which is not very difficult. Those are weekend quilts. You need to take your. I was looking at Sergers. Somebody was talking, Mona. It was on your live today that somebody mentioned that Goodwill had a website. And so I'm watching, you were on the big screen TV. You were on my big screen, and I'm working. And then all of a sudden, I saw where Goodwill had a shop. And I went to Goodwill and I was looking at the featherweights. And those babies, they're like at 330. I guess they take bids for them, but they're at 330 and 350. And one of them looked like it was falling apart. You got your surgery at Goodwill. Terry, I wish I could be as lucky, and I probably need to go to a town that is 2 hours from me, that is more north, and there's a lot of military, and I believe they have two Goodwill centers, and probably would be luckier than what we get at the Goodwill at, in the town I live on. Nobody. Yes. So, Terry, so when y'all were talking, I went on there. I said, I'm going to take a little break and I'm listening to y'all, your conversations. And I was reading the chat because I had you up on my phone too. And I was reading the chat and I went on there and they had, I think, five, and they were all black. They had five featherweights and people were wanting some good money. You got yours brand new. Zaza said my serger is an Aldi special and it works great. There are new, never in the charity shops here. I saw one of those Aldi sergers at that shop, Goodwill shop, and I think they wanted $33 for it. I'm looking at buying a serger. Is it worth getting an air threader? I watched something about that once. I think it was last year, and somebody had said that the air threaders were really good. Well, so Terry, I've been bugging you forever and ever. So if you sell one, as long as it doesn't cost me my house, if you sell one, just remember me. You need to do. Hey, Delia, you need to do a bid war, a bidding war, Terry. If you ever sell it, sell it. Yeah, I'm maybe I'll just take a trip up. We are having I think it's October 4th, and I plan on taking the grandkids if everything works out, if the weather works out well, but they're having a Civil War reenactment, and I think it's 3 hours from me, and I want to take the kids to it, and there's several different um stores in that area, and it is also close to Mennonite communities. So maybe I can find something good around there because there's a lot of people that sew on that side. And then I have a brother surgery easy to thread. Yeah, I kind of want something to eat, and I would not be using a serger for everything. However, I've been watching videos about people using the serger to square up their quilts, and I thought that was neat. Yeah, I thought that was really neat. The being able to use a serger to. My only thing would be, would it does it square properly? How I would need to do some research on that as well if I used a serger for that. It is, Candace, it is up in, and I'm gonna say it wrong. There is a war monument that is north of me. It is, and I always want to say it's Arlington, but it's not Arlington. But there is a Mennonite community, and they also have um they have, they sell sheds, and they have a restaurant out there that you can go and eat at. We've been a couple of times. Oh, up in close to Montezuma. I think it's close to Montezuma. Can So yeah, we have one, and I think it's just right outside of Montezuma that they have that community over there. I quote, using my serger 10 years ago, came unthreaded and gave up on it. Oh, Joyce, I've used my serger to make entire quilts for children because they get washed a lot and I do not want them to fall apart. And so when we went to Walmart this weekend, and I think it was Deb and I that was talking about this, we went to Walmart this weekend and they have relatively good lap size um, blankets for the kids, and it's that soft furry material, but it's really soft and furry, and it's like $10 for a nice size one. And I was thinking of picking up a couple of them to back on some of my charity quilts because it's already, it's got the seams and it's kind of like Minky, but it's the knockoff. It's the dollar store stuff. So it's kind of like Minky and it's really soft. My grandkids have some and they've had it for years and it's nice and comfortable and warm and cozy, but it's like $10 and it's a good size. You could put a good lap size child's quilt on it and then you could go ahead and cut it off and I wouldn't have to worry about all that fluff and everything. I wouldn't have to worry about all that fluff and cutting up because it's already serged on the sides. And so I'm just laying it down if I want to put some batting under it, if I don't, and I could go ahead and quilt it. And then the only time I would have all that junk and fluff flying around is when I'm squaring it up. But I was thinking if I don't know how well a serger would work on that because I think that's something I would want to serge it so that way it's all locked in instead of having everything flying around. So, but for $10, that I mean that's about how much you pay for backing as it is. You can get a serger foot for your sewing machine. It's the kind of walking foot and it has blade that I could, but I don't know if you've ever priced Genomi's attachments. And for that, if I could find something that's used that works, I probably would want that. Plus, I wouldn't want all that fluff to get in my sewing machine because we don't oil the Genomes. You know, you don't have to oil, you take your Genome in to get service once a year, and that is all you need. Every now and then you might have to oil the wick. And so I wouldn't want all that fluff and stuff to get down on the inside. But I would consider getting a serger and then getting those blankets. And when they go on sale, they're even cheaper. So I could get a whole bunch of them. You got yours at a vacuum and sewing machine place? Oh, is that right? Yeah, Janome accessories are expensive, and if I can just get something, and just to make life a little easier, and I really think that I like the idea of if I could use it to square up my quilts and have a nice finish before I put the binding on, that would be helpful too. So, yeah, that would be really interesting. So, yeah, I know. Just really briefly getting back to this build a quilt for this, I used again, if you want to follow me, you can. If you're building your own quilt for all those people in the future, if you watch this, I used for my house, I used number 48 and I only made one, and it's the 12-inch. And then I used number 43 for my hearts, and that is the 4-inch. And then I am going to be making block 19, I'm going to make 4 because those are my buttercups that are going to go in each corner. Then I'm going to do 38, 91, and 99. And then you have picked out some good ones that I am going to try to incorporate. That Star Sedona I really like. And I think it would make a nice tree as well. And I could probably go a little bigger. Some of the blocks, the pieces are just too small. And but some of them have some really, really good trees, would make really good tree tops on it. And then Susan Munger said, I need to applique home is where the heart is. So I'm going to see how I can incorporate that where can incorporate. I might actually do it on the bottom of the quilt, right towards the bottom. And like I said, this table topper might end up turning into a wall hanging. We'll just have to see how it comes out. But you can see my sporadic quilting process when I'm just creating a quilt. Sometimes I just do 12-inch blocks, 10-inch blocks when I'm doing charity. But other times I like to go ahead and something a little different and that more creative, and work that way. My Janome, sir. Oh, for it, yeah, for the ones that have Janomes, do you have the twin needle attachment on yours? I'm kind of curious. I've been looking at the twin needles to do some twin needle, using both needles to sew as well for some when I use different types of threads. So I'm looking at that. But anyway, um, so I will try to do a couple videos for the 4 additional blocks, and it's just a lot easier so I can read the chat and not be so sporadic when I am looking at when I'm sewing, because when I start sewing I get in my own world. Do you like those twin needles, Zaza? I think I have the attachment. I don't know, but I've not used it, so I have to look at my book. So Andrea, my husband is actually he is the manager of a sign company, and he does, if I tell him anything, he will cut my pattern for me at work. He'll put it up on his machine and he'll cut it on his big vinyl machine and he'll bring it in, and he even grip plexes it for me so I can go ahead and make a template with it. And then he does whatever letter style I want. Oh, okay. That's nice to know, Terry. But for everybody that it is after 9 o'clock, and for everybody that is joining me or just even come out to support me, I know you don't have to. I think Deb was saying it's football season, and everybody's got so much going on. Everybody is either quilting along with other people. They're doing so many other things with other people. I just appreciate you taking the time out of your afternoon, evening, night, and hanging out with me for a little while. I promise I'll try to get better. But I just like to do these little short spots, and sometimes it just gets a little lonely sewing and creating by yourself. And I always like feedback. I always like to hear what you have to say, and I do take notes, and I do go back. If you have a channel, I watch your videos so that way I can see what you're talking about. I am going to look more into the serger, and I am going to look more into the twin needles. I was watching somebody on YouTube, and he actually does embroidery with 2 needles. And I was thinking that was so neat, but I wouldn't even begin to know how to do it myself. So it would be something I would need to practice and watch. Um, Any machine that has a machine with a zigzag, you can use a twin needle. You just have to have the opening on your machine. If you have a straight stitch, you can't. Okay. So are you just saying that, and I got to read my book. I'm just going to have to get my book or go to the Genome site because I'm sure they have videos on it. But I do have those applique stitches where it's just an open foot. I mean, it's a big open foot. Hey, Denise, how are you? We are working on a build a quilt. Thanks, Denise. Thank you for being so supportive. Yeah, I want a circuit too. I want it all. I really do. I really want everything. And it's so hard because I watch you all create, and I have limited time and limited space. And every time I walk into the living room where my husband is at, after I come off alive, he almost cringes because I'm like, oh, I want an embroidery machine. Oh, I want a long garment. And I really do want it all. And I'm but I'm willing to settle for used. And as long as it's good, I'm really ready to settle for used. But I really want to expand outside of quilting. I want to do other things and just be able to incorporate everything together and make something that I'm going to enjoy making, that I'm going to keep, and then continue to do my charity quilting. And but those are nice big blocks. But I want to do some things that I just like to do, and maybe even turn some of those things into hobo bags. If your husband had no, I really, but I would want it just to have it because you'll have one. So since y'all have one, I gotta have one. I can't be left out. But he does. I've made a couple of quilts with the kids' names appliqued on it. I've made some things, their stockings, I applique their names. And I'll just say, hey, I want a 6-inch letter. I want this out in a 6-inch letter or 5 inches. And he'll just put it in his machine, send me a picture of it, ask me if it's okay. And if I give the okay, then he'll just cut it out. And yes, Deb, I suffer from FOMO. I suffer from, you don't know how jealous I get when I'm at work and I'm watching y'all just so here and so there and chat, chat, chat. And all I want to do, he has a plotter. And so he can make things big or small and um different types of colors and stuff. So that's what he does, and he's happy to do it for me. I have heard that too, that some people have liked the brother scan and cut better than the circuit. But I kind of go where you are. If I'm in a chat, if I'm watching somebody talk, or you guys are having side conversations in somebody's live, and I'm watching this, I kind of go where people are saying good things about it. Now there are people that do not like Genome machines, and I love my Genome, so I just kind of foo-foo those people. But but circuit air to cup fabric. Now, the one thing I have no interest in purchasing, even though all of you have it, is those what do you call it? Those it just escaped me. Those things that cut fabric into different sizes, and it will make a whole bunch of half square triangles for you and things like that. I've got no interest in that. The Gomi, or I don't know what it's called. Uh, I have no interest in that. I don't mind cutting fabric. I actually like to cut fabric. You want to come and say hi? Tell everybody hi. Yeah. Okay, you can go. Bye. That was my baby. He was telling me that it AccuQuilt. Yeah, I have that's not something that I want to do now. Of course, I don't quilt in bulk the way that y'all do. Hey, baby. Excuse me. Baby, can you close this door? Max came to give me some love, please. You need to go with your papa. Go with your papa. Sorry about that. Who's that? My Are you talking about my dog Maximus? He's my baby. He was trying to tell his mama it was time for me to go to bed. He um he knows when it's time for mama to get ready for bed, which it is. But going back to the AccuQuilt, I have no desire. That's the one thing that I do not have FOMO about. Yeah, Max is my baby. He's 4 years old. 4 years old, and I want to get another one, but he will be jealous. He would be very jealous. The Circuit Access monthly membership has thousands of patterns cut right from it instead of cutting by hand. Yeah, it's funny when the dogs are just so instinctive, and he knows that by 9 o'clock, anywhere between 8:45 and 9 o'clock, I'm already getting ready for bed. In fact, that's what my husband's doing, getting ready for bed. And then at 2:30 in the morning, he wakes me up because he knows that's the time I wake up in the morning. And at 2:30, he will wake me up. Good night, Julia. So anyway, I am going to make some videos. I hope. If not, I might just show you, the completed things. So I've got 32 blocks that I have to make in 2 weeks, and I'm going to try and get those cut and done. Okay, love you. My I'm gonna, my husband's blushing. Yeah, the dogs are so good, but I appreciate all of you coming in. Look at your books, picks out some things that, if you have the book, that would make nice trees, because I'm going to be working on some trees after my 32 blocks. So in 3 weeks I'll be working on trees and getting some. I'll tell him, Deb. I'll tell him that. Oh, I asked him if he wanted to come on this tonight to read the chat for me, and he said absolutely not. But I hope you all have a great evening. Again, thank you so much for just spending some time with me, hanging out with me, keeping me company, following along in the process, and just making me feel like I'm loved. I appreciate you, and I love you all too. And I hope you have a good evening, and I will see you soon somewhere in someone's chat. But y'all have a good evening. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Thanks for all the great tips, too. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Bye.